April Fools was a while ago and I sadly missed it. Aww. But somebody who didn't was Sega, as they made the announcement for the next step forward for Sonic the Hedgehog. His grave. Yahoo! That is one hell of a thing to do right before his old rival's newest movie release, which was just a few days after. But no, the Sonic series isn't really dead. Yet, though it has gotten pretty close to over the last few decades. No, instead Sega actually decided to go ahead and release the newest installment for the series for free on April Fool's Day. The Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog is a point-and-click murder mystery where your player character and Sonic's right-hand man Tails try to figure out who of Sonic's friends murdered the Blue Rat. Or, I guess, murdered in quotes, as this is really just an elaborate game set up by Amy for her birthday. Though the state Sonic is found in does seem to lead our player character to believe that something else is going on. Hey, take those quotes off. Now, point-and-click ventures usually aren't my forte, especially the visual novel sort. Not any real reason, honestly, they're just not something I've ever really dabbled with. But when one comes out claiming to be the death of a long-running mascot like Sonic the Hedgehog and it's free, you know I had to pick it up, at least for archival reasons. Never know when something like this gets delisted. Now when it comes to mysteries, I'm actually a pretty decently sized fan. I remember loving the Sherlock Holmes books as a kid. In fact, I recently got a little collection of them for Christmas. Just need to read some of my other books first before I start them. I'm pretty sure that's every book reader's problem. Weird that I'm like that for books, but for games, I'll drop a 40-hour RPG 20 hours in if something else catches my attention. I'm not really sure why, I guess the sunk cost fallacy can be picky. Anyway, I love mysteries, from Columbo to Benoit Blanc. I think mysteries as a genre can be really cool as it lets the audience in on the fun trying to figure out who did it, why they did it, or how they'll get away with it. And the different tropes are very easy to mix up and play with to turn the usual stories up on their heads, and even in some cases make you hope that the mystery stays unsolved. No spoilers here, my friends, though if you've not really seen any of these awesome movies, I highly recommend them. Maybe I should talk about more things than games once in a while. That One Piece video was pretty fun to make. But anyway, this game takes a lot of different tropes of the genre and gives them a fun Sonic spin dash? Yeah, alright, that one was a little bit forced. We got characters dressed up like a game of Clue, we have to do some Sonic-esque platforming to get our arguments and theories all together, and the story itself is a clear reference to the murder on the Orient Express. You know, just in Sonic Land with Tails and the player character acting as a Holmes and Watson style duo. I'm so glad we get to see Knuckles rocking the cowboy hat again. I know I'm a sucker for old western shit, especially the big hats, but you can't convince me that Knuckles doesn't look good with a hat. It's a damn shame they got rid of it once before, so I hope they don't do that again. He just looks so damn cool with it. Now, I haven't spoken of the Blue Hedgehog yet on this channel, and honestly, it's cause I ain't really a giant Sonic fan. Like, yeah, I definitely had my Sonic phase, watched a lot of the cartoons and reviews for the franchise. I even got a favorite character. It's Vector, and I'm happy to see him here. Kind of odd he's not the detective in this, but hey, Amy wanted a challenge, and we all know this type of mystery would have been too simple for my man. But you know, actually playing the Sonic games, I tried the classic games, but I wasn't really super into them. They aren't bad, I just couldn't get into them as much as everyone else. Unless we're talking about CD or Mania, because I absolutely love those games. I've spent way too much time playing Mania. But other than that, my track record with the 3D stuff is spotty. Like, I remember liking colors as a kid, so I got Ultimate when it came out, and I've never dropped something that fast. That game is just awful. And by the way, I'm not blaming colors for that. I know Ultimate's just a bad port, but god bless, man. I tried Black Knight and Secret Ring. I like the sword. Generations was pretty good. Warses wasn't. Tried Adventure on Steam, and that didn't really go anywhere. Again, I'm gonna blame the port and not the game on that. But otherwise, I've tried some of the spin-offs like Fighter and Sega All-Stars Racing, and I love those. Kinda wish Fighters would stop kicking my ass, but hey, I'm into it. I guess I had some time with the Olympic Games as a kid, but I can't really remember them too much. And nowadays, my only real Sonic stuff I get into, stuff like the indie games, which aren't even Sonic games, they're just inspired by Sonic. Spark the Electric Jester is really fun, and you know, Freedom Planet, well, I love Freedom Planet, check out my 2 videos on those games. So yeah, my Sonic track record is a mixed bag of to some of my favorites, so I don't even know how to tackle them in video form. But I do like all the characters and their unique quirks, so a murder mystery with them sounds like a lot of fun. Oh, and of course I love all the music, even from the games I haven't played. But I assume that's everybody's feelings towards Sonic music. I mean, all of the soundtracks are just phenomenal. I bet you can't say a single Sonic game has bad music. Okay, 1, how do you even remember this garbage? And 2, 1 out of like 100 is not that bad. Speaking on music, how about we start by going into that and the general feel of the game. Now this game looks and sounds relaxing, and it's all so easy on the eyes and ears. You know, except for the rotting corpse over there, but hey, the music and atmosphere kinda drowns him out anyway. It's all this kind of smooth jazz with a pleasant art style that's kind of uneven in some areas such as the outlines, but I really like it, and the small dots that make up the majority of the coloring is beautiful. It's like I'm reading a comic book or something. The gameplay is pretty simple. You point, you click, you try to make a move on Blaze, it fails, but the rest of the stuff works as you expect, exploring different areas and pointing and clicking different objects to see if they can help you in Tails on your investigation, or feed your character's gambling addiction. Hey, don't judge me, you two-tailed bitch! I mentioned the platforming mind stuff earlier. These are essentially the way your player character thinks out his arguments in an endless runner-styled minigame that's similar to the Emerald stages in past Sonic games. Now these are honestly pretty okay. I think they can be kind of fun, and I do like the different obstacles and themes changing depending on what character you're interrogating. I think that adds a lot of charm, and it helps the whole thinking through an argument thing it's got going on. Though, watch out for the last few of these things, they get really hard almost out of nowhere. There are accessibility options if you decide to help yourself out, which I don't blame you, by the way. I was sweating through my fucking ball shorts when I saw that ring counter hit 100, and it got so fast that the tiles all started turning to a blur. I swear, it can be difficult to tell where Sonic is actually positioned on the board. But even with all my struggles, the game was still easily beaten in under 2 hours. The Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog is a short but sweet experience. I'd recommend it to everyone with even the tiniest interest in Sonic, as there's tons of fun references, and you're bound to have a fun time with the gameplay and all the character interactions. And hey, even if you don't, it's free, so that's no stress on your wallet. But honestly, I would have paid for this game for the writing alone, which is fucking phenomenal. It's really funny and a joy to read. Which, yep, it's time for spoilers. Skip here to avoid all story spoilers for the Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog. But hold on now, if you have any interest in this game, you need to just go play it. A mystery is never as fun when somebody spoils it for you, and I'm not about to do that here. The game is free and will run on any device that will play Steam games. Odds are you probably have something that can, so genuinely, go play it. And enjoy the ride, as I think it's pretty damn fun. So, we start off as this doofus who's apparently, Quokka?
Quokka.
Whatever. But their name is whatever you want it to be, so we'll call them Dikhed. Dikhed. Dikhed meets up with the conductor of the train they work on, who tells them that they're hosting a murder mystery party, and today is also his final day on the job after 32 years with this train. 32 years, because it's the 32nd anniversary. Oh, that's cute. The conductor explains to Dikhed that he is the guy who's going to watch over the party and make sure everything goes well for their guests. Or make them exquisite meals with his incredible skills with a microwave. He also tells us about how state-of-the-art the train is. It even has these robot hands that do a lot of the work for the conductor and will help Dikhed serve the guests. The hands are kinda dicks to anyone who's not the conductor, but hey, they do the job. The guests soon arrive, and they're revealed to be Sonic and friends who are here to celebrate Amy's birthday. Amy is given a special birthday key that can unlock any door on the train, as is tradition on Sonic World, I guess. Does that include bathrooms? I really hope that doesn't include bathrooms. Amy then reveals that everybody here is wearing a costume and role-playing as one of many Clue Board-esque characters, with the one playing the murderer being able to murder any one of them that they choose. Each of the characters are sent off to their different cars on the train as is posted on this handy little map, with Dikhed, Tails, and Amy being the only ones left in the dining car. But then, the train suddenly shoots off, throwing our trio into a nearby storage closet where they're knocked out. After waking up, they soon escape the closet and find Sonic passed out on the floor. Tails and Amy get excited, as this means that the murderer has made his move, and now it's their jobs as the detective and the reporter to figure out who did it, so they both rush off. Dikhed, however, is concerned, so he checks on Sonic only to find him barely having a pulse and mumbling his dying words. Now, of course, in this situation, their job would be to let everyone on the train know that something is wrong, and that Sonic is actually hurt and wasn't pretend murdered. But of course, Dikhed thinks back to the conductor's words about keeping the guests happy, so he decides to join with Tails to try and figure out who did this. Except he doesn't tell Tails and everybody else that Sonic is in bad shape. No, he leaves Sonic in the dining car to rot. Yeah, I was right the first time, you are a dickhead. So now Tails and Dikhed have to interrogate and investigate everyone else on the train and try to figure out who did this. At first this proves difficult as Shadow is locking all the doors on the train, making him seem very suspicious. And when the duo finally make it to Shadow's car, they find that Amy is there and she's accusing him of the murder due to a hot tip she got from somebody on the train. After a quick investigation of the car, Tails and Dikhed figure out that Shadow wasn't trying to lock the doors to halt Tails and Amy's investigations, but instead was because he wanted to keep Amy away from him as long as possible, so that he can get her birthday gift ready, which was actually foreshadowed really well in the beginning when he asks if the train has any gift bags. I had a feeling that something would be wrong with his gift after he said something like that. It turns out he was just trying to get tickets for Amy's favorite band, Hot Honey, where every member has B in their name. Is that what Charmy's up to in this game? Him, Cream, and Silver are noticeably absent from their respective trios. Though, is Silver, Blaze, and Cream really a trio? I don't know, but Shadow just needed time to get her gift ready, so he locked the doors, not knowing of her special birthday key. With only one car left on the train, Tails, Dikhed, Amy, and Shadow head to the front of the train to finally figure out this mystery. However, they walk in on an empty car that shows signs of some sort of struggle, with them soon realizing that the conductor is missing. They call everyone into the front, where Sonic's condition is finally revealed to everyone, and they say he's in real bad shape. Yeah, if only somebody had spoken up about that earlier, dickhead! Everybody is rightfully pissed that someone would take things this far, especially since everyone on the train is supposed to be Sonic's friend. And after thinking it all through, it turns out there's only one person among the cast who could have done all this. And it was... Espio. Yeah, Espio. I'm really happy they decided to go with somebody like Espio, who really fades into the background for most of the series. And it's fun how Shadow was a major red herring throughout the game, as if you had to assume somebody murdered Sonic, out of the cast of characters here, you'd definitely assume it'd be him considering their history, or at least what I know of their history. Also like how faulty all of Espio's alibis are. I was suspicious of him the whole game and I'm glad that I was right. Tails and Dikhed go into detail about Espio's alibis and how they were never really all that sound. And his position in the library gave him access to plenty of manuals and blueprints of the train, meaning he knew about all the ducts and secret passageways. Espio tries to deny all the allegations, but he's not doing too good a job at it. Though he is right that some of this isn't really adding up. But before he has a chance to admit it, Sonic wakes up and explains what happened. Sonic was in the front of the train with the conductor when the two of them found out that the train itself was actually a badnik created by Eggman. Before Sonic gets the chance to tell his friends, Espio shows up and hits him with a sleep dart that leaves him groggy. After Espio teleports out, Sonic and the conductor are then attacked by the train, with Sonic being able to fight back for a bit, but the dart takes its toll and the arms mess him up something fierce before dumping him in the dining car. Espio then finally admits to the murder, but apologizes, saying that he was only following the instructions given to him by the staff. Which is strange, since Dikhed and the conductor are the only staff here and neither of them gave it to him. But then Espio says it was actually one of the robot arms that gave him the dart and the instructions. Yeah, you can probably guess where this is going. The robot arms appear with the conductor in their clutches. The train then tells them to give themselves up as he's taking them all to Eggman, before then speeding up again and knocking them all out, forcibly moving them back to their cars. Dikhed and Sonic wake up in the dining car, Dikhed feeling terrible for keeping quiet about Sonic's condition. But Sonic encourages them, saying that they'll save everybody and stop this train. Yeah, Dikhed, let's go save my friends! It's a Dikhed actually. Yeah, Dikhed, let's go! It's then when Eggman shows up on screen and tells us a little tale. He says that a while ago he created these trains to help monitor the civilians of Sonic Land or Mobius or whatever Sonic's world's called, and he programmed them to capture Sonic and friends if they ever should step aboard one. The train asks Eggman about some sort of bounty, but Eggman brushes it off and cuts out. Sonic and Dikhed try to figure out what they should do, with Dikhed telling Sonic that him and Tails have just been doing what they thought he would do the whole time. Sonic thinks that that's a great idea, obviously, so the two of them make a mad dash through the train, saving all their friends, leading Sonic and crew to have a final battle with the train, eventually giving Espio the chance to snatch the flicky powering it. The train is now on its last legs, so Amy decides to just go ahead and smash in its kneecaps for ruining her birthday. Golly. Now defeated, the train arms finally admit to why they did all this, as they believed Eggman would be able to fulfill their dream of working with the conductor for the rest of time like the conductor promised years ago. The conductor says that he was a younger man when he said that, and things are different now. The train finally relents and apologizes as it finally passes on, with the conductor mourning his friend, saying he'll always remember the good times. And he even adopts the flicky powering the train. That's kinda cute. Sonic and friends finally celebrate Amy's birthday with a cake that was conveniently being sold nearby with Amy's face on it, and the conductor and his wife finally go on their much-needed vacation. And what of our lovable dick-headed hero? Well, they get to go to space and become a space conductor! Whoop whoop, space train! Oh, and Eggman suffers another defeat. But hey, his kids have matching shirts. That's kinda cute. I like that. The story is fun and well written. All of the characters are in character and act like their usual Sonic selves. I liked seeing them all in this different kind of adventure, and the new characters were all pretty cool. And you all know how much I love trains. It's a soft spot in my heart from a simpler time. So I felt for this poor little murder train, even though it's kind of a dick. But that's a running theme around here. Speaking of, our lovable Dikhed was a fun character to play as. I love how they absolutely have no idea how to react to all the crazy Sonic shit going on, and they're also super worried if they're acting way too awkward, which is kind of relatable. But honestly, I kind of felt like the Sonic crew were just being too hard on them. Like really, they barely know who you people are. They didn't even recognize Sonic till he said his name. Don't give them shit for not knowing Tails could fly. Would you assume somebody could fly if they had a third arm? No, cause that's stupid! Lay off my Quokka, you dicks! And that's the murder of Sonic the Hedgehog, a really fun and well-written point-and-click mystery. That's also free, so go ahead and give it a try if you're interested. I think it's fun. And the mystery was pretty good with lots of twists and turns. The art style looks great. I really like the music. It's just a good game all around and for free, so go on and have some fun with it. As for myself, I think it's time I opened up one of those Sherlock Holmes books. Just as soon as I get over this cold. Yep, sorry if I sounded weird in this one. I'm just getting over a cold. I'll try to sound better for the next video. Oh, and cloaca is another word for bird pussy if you didn't know.